Hello everyone, welcome to the God Stack. A new session, a new day. Hello Bruno, how are you?
Hello, how you doing, guys? I'm fine, and you?
Yeah,
How
I'm
you
fine.
doing?
How was your day?
It was a good day, just working in my project, and everything good. Not big problems.
Nice, that's nice. So, we will keep going with the React project that we were doing the last session. So, in the last session, let me just go to let's change it here. There we go. So, in the last session was something really simple that we did. We just started the project, but it was something. Hello, Rafa. How are you? Welcome to the God Stack. Welcome to the chat. And what we done in the last session was just creating the small structure that's necessary to handle our project. So we just have one file here, and we configured the webpack. So we are not using create React app. We are doing all things. So it's all configured here. I just explained you guys all these things, so how the entry point works, the output of the file, development server, the dev tools to map all the source, the resolvers, modules, extensions, the rules, and the libraries that loads and compiles our files. And I showed you that in the end, the JavaScript that will go live, it's not gonna be the JavaScript that we create just like that. It's gonna be another JavaScript, and I actually showed you this script and kind of explained to you some of the things that are here. So now you understand the create element that can create elements using React and all that. So you have a little bit better of explanation of all these, what all this means. And today, the first thing that we're going to do, we will work a little bit with the structure of our project, because we are working with a JavaScript, and we have a Docker for the API, but we don't have a Docker for SPA. So we will do all of these. But one thing that I consider to be really important, it's before you start everything, it's to configure an S-linked. It's really important, because it's the style of your coding. So I will create some rules, and we will understand how all this works. So in order to install the S-linked, so let's do that. Let's get here S-linked, and then let's do S-linked install. So when we go to that, we go to this link. So how do we install it? We just get that. It's gonna be a development library, because we don't want that into production. This is just when you are developing your software. So I like to do that way. So there you go. Nice. And then if you want to start an S-linked project, you just copy these, paste in here. We did almost the same thing in the API. So it's gonna be almost the same thing. So we want to check the syntax, find the problems, and enforce the code style, because we want people to do the code in the right way. Okay. We are going to work with JavaScript modules with import and export. It is an React project. We are not going to use TypeScript. It's just going to work on browser. We are not going to work just like the API. So we just need browsers. We are going to use a popular style guide because we use this same style guide. We use Airbnb, so we use Airbnb in the backend. We're going to do the same thing in the front end. So if we use the Airbnb in the backend, we're going to use that in the front end. Okay. What format do you want your config file to be in? I want it to be a JavaScript file. We are working with JavaScript project, so JavaScript file. Now, what the Slint is gonna do is gonna install everything with npm. It's okay. We just going to install with npm. I know that we are using yarn, and then I will show you what we're gonna do. So we will let the Slint to use npm to do all the task. It will be created a new file that's a package log JSON, sorry. And there you go. All installed. Nice. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the remove package lock, and I'm going to remove the yarn lock as well. And then I'm going to do yarn install. And oh, sorry, yarn install. And there we go. Welcome Albus to the stream. Welcome to the gold stack. Nice. So as you can see, we already have some things here. That's the Slint. It's already getting some errors, but some of them are not actually some things that I want to, because if I save this file, it's gonna automatically save everything for me and do that. So what I want to do, I want to come here. This is the file that we are using to config Slint. And we can change some rules, and I like this is some of the things that I like to do. For example, I don't like to use the semicolon in the end of the file. So these, I don't like to use these. I just like to use the file that it's more. How can I say, it's more clean. I just like that because it's more clean. And well, that's it. What I lose when I don't use that, I can't return things like a new or undefined return. For example, I can't do that return, it's mandatory to return something, so it should be something like it's mandatory to return it's because it's in that thing. So I return, I can't do that, it will not allow me to do that, so I need to return something if I don't get that. And there is just one small other thing, but it's okay. We will not use that anyway, so it's okay. Let's just recreate the div here with my name, and there we go. Okay, there are some other rules that I'm used to use. Okay, so it's not just this one. There is actually a lot of other things that I like to use. When you put 0, you are just ignoring this rule. In that way, when you use it, some of the errors that was coming from here, for example, it's not having anymore. If you have any doubt about any rule that's here, you can go to the repository. It's a free repository. You can go there and check the code, It's github.com, Breno, and then TGS. This is the one. So you can go there, check all the rules that I'm using. And if you have any doubt about any of these rules, you can get, for example, let's get this max length. I'm just ignoring the max length, okay? And let's just check that. So we just do asLint and then put that, and the rule will be here. And you can check the rule to understand what it's about. For example, it's going to say this rule involves the maximum line length increase the code readability and maintainability. Right now, this is turned off in my code. And what I want to do, I want to use the code rule. So what would I do? I would just get this rule, the max length rule, I'm sorry, all of that, max length rule, and then I will enforce it here. So it's going to be just like that. And a comma in here, and there we go. So now if I pass the 80 line, for example, if I do something like that and then pass, you see when I pass the limit of the length that it's 80 chars, this is gonna say, hey, there is some problem here and you need to do something about that. But actually, as you can see, we have two of them, and I like kind of the middle, because this one is 120 and this one is 80. And as the new monitors, because the old monitors, you know, if you have a very small monitor, 80 is the limit. So when you are software developing, if your code is inside the 80 length line, it's gonna be a good. But the new monitors, you can get to 100. Some of them you can get to 120, because, for example, my one, you can get to 120, but it's not all the monitors that will get that. So let's just keep with 100. 100 it's a good number. Let's just test it. There we go. So this is the limit. It's, well, enough characters in this code. Okay, so you can go to the asLint and check for every rule you've got. So there you go. We got the no shadow line. It's well, and you can get all of them, and you can check if you want to. There is a lot of different options, and you can just check what you want or what you don't want. This one is the ones I like most, and the only thing I'm gonna do that it's gonna work for us, because we are working with Webpack, and Webpack we configured by our own hand. So I'm just going to add this one. What I'm saying is, when you're going to try to resolve the import things, use Webpack as a config file. This means that, for example, if you remember, when I was working with this file, I've created this magical line. What does this magical line do? It makes the source folder. The source folder will be a module, just like any folder inside Node modules. This means that I can do something like, for example, if I create a folder here called test, and then create a file inside of this, I can just do import from test, and my application will understand that test, it's a source, it's inside the source folder, so it's a module just like any other module folder. Hello Nathan, welcome to the God Stack. Be welcome.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, and nice. So this is the reason I'm going to do that inside the settings. All right. So the extensions is going to use the React, and it's going to use the Airbnb. I'm going to use that as one. So JSX, of course, is going to be true because I'm using React, so I need that in order to work with this file. The plugins, of course, it's going to use the React plugins and these settings. I believe that the settings and the rules, it's the only thing that I do that's different from the thing that comes as a standard in our application. Okay, so that's it. If you have any doubt about it, just go to the manual and get one by one. I'm not going to do that, but if you have any doubt about that, just go there and check it. What's missing here? What's that? Yeah. I would just ignore this. Disable order for this line, and I believe I can't. Quick fix. Yeah. Well, this is just the Webpack. I don't actually care too much about that, and I would want to. Yeah. Okay. So when I did that, it stopped working. I believe that webpack config.js, import resolver. I believe I need a and if you want that to work, we actually need to add another library. It's this one, slint import resolver. Let me just do that. It's gonna be better for you. Do you remember when I told you about the 80 length line? There you go. Now that the screen is a little bit bigger, as you can see, the 80 line is here. So let's just add these. And I believe that the here is gonna, yeah, there we go. So I can go back. Yes, it's working, and this one is working. So if you want to use the import resolver, you need to install it. The name of the package is slint import resolver webpack. Okay, and there you go. Everything seems to be working and fine. So now that we have slint working, what I want to do is to add the SPA folder into the Docker, because we want to run all of these in the same. As you remember, let me just go and open this other thing. I don't know if Bruno will have access to this, or he's just have access to the other one.
No, I think you have to
call you again, isn't it?
to invite me again.
Nice. I will just close this one and open the other one,
Okay.
and we'll call you there. Okay, and let's share. And then invite contact. Can you
Hello,
accept it?
Debs. Welcome.
Debbie's here. Welcome, Debbie. Debbie will help us with Cypress. I'm still studying Cypress. I don't know a lot of it, and when we do the Cypress thing into the SPA, she's gonna be the one to help us. Well, if we have all the structure inside the API, what we need to do is to get everything that's Docker related, that's inside of this folder, and makes it goes to the root folder. Okay, so let's do that. It's gonna be this one, 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 and I believe that this is it. And let's do that. So I'm just going to the API, and let's remove the database that we have there. So let's remove the database. There you go. Nice. And now the next step, let me just check again. Register, immigration, docs, SUI, everything's nice. Nice. So I just need to add here the .env and the docker compose YML. There you go. So we don't have, we will not commit these two files. Nice. So we are working with the local development, and now we need to do the mounting point of the API. We need to change it. Now it's gonna be API. Okay, and when it goes, it's gonna be API registry and the environment Docker file. And I believe that this is all that we need to do. Seems fine, Bruno?
Seems good.
Seems good, isn't it?
Can you invite me again, because I didn't receive it?
Didn't? Chat with this content.
The invite again.
Stop collaboration session somehow. Okay, so invite contact. Start collaboration session. It's done. There we go. I believe you were coming, don't you?
No.
No?
Let me restart my VS Code.
Yeah. I will let you. So let's...
Okay.
Yeah. So
Try again.
Try again. Invite contact. And...
Now it worked.
Are you there?
Joining.
Joining? Nice.
Yes, perfect.
Nice. So I believe that this is the only thing, because the database, it's gonna be the same place. The traffic proxy, reverse proxy, is gonna be exactly the same thing. So we don't need to think much about that. So there we go. This is okay. This is okay. Everything's okay. So I've changed this into the local. Did I change it here? API. The production. The production, we don't need to mount anything, because as I told you before, and we tested these in the production, we are going to do all the CI process. The CI process is going to run the tests, create the image, push the image to the Docker Hub. In the Docker Hub, we have the registry, the image will be there, and then we use the Docker Compose to mount the image that's there. It's going to be the Gold Stack TGS API, and so we don't need to change anything for the production file. I'm just going to do that, remove this line, just for the good things. Nice. Install development. Let's just check the install development and see if it's working. Checking for Docker, cleaning all the containers. Please add the lines. Let's just add another line here. That's going to be SPA localtgs.com. It's going to create the environment file. It's going to be exactly the same. This one's going to be exactly the same. I just missing the CP of that. The CP is here. Nice. So Docker Compose, perfect. So we don't need to change anything from this install file, because everything that we need is already here. So obviously the production is going to be exactly the same thing, so we don't need to change. We need to change this one. Let's just call to be more precisely. Let's just do that into production. It's going to be something like that, I believe. Okay, this one, creating the Docker file, is going to copy the production. Beautiful, really beautiful. So what we're going to do now, we're going to test the front end. Okay, so the front end should be something similar to the back end. Okay, so let's do the same thing. So I'm just going to copy the front end. Yeah, let's just copy, just change that, yes. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then that. Let's just check if it's working. Clean and oh, not here, here. Clean and docker compose app. Let's check if it's working. It's still working. So it's gonna clean everything that I'm working with, and it's gonna do that. Perfect. What? TGS default. Okay. Docker network clone. Yeah, I believe that's the network that's having a problem. Let's just check. No. Const okay. CD API ls lay sudo rm.data rf ls.lay. Nice. What I'm gonna do, I'm just going to get this thing and okay, I'm just going to put that here. No, sorry, I'm just going to copy and paste it here. We will need that in the future when we go live with the image. So let's do that again. Docker compose app and see what happens. Yes, it's gonna build the API because I don't have the API built yet. There we go, and working. Nice, perfect. The API is still it's still working. So what we need to do is to create the SPA, right? So actually, let's copy everything, okay, and let's change what's needed. Dice API. Seems that that problem that when you and another one. Nice. So now instead of calling it API, we're gonna call it SPA, and instead API URL is gonna be SPA URL, and this is gonna be SPA. This is gonna be SPA. The HTTP port can be the same. The environment is gonna be the same. We don't need any of this information. Okay. And it's not going to wait for the DB host. It's actually is gonna wait for the API host, API URL. It's gonna wait for this one, API URL, and it's gonna be in the HTTP port. So SPA will wait for the API. So the API waits for the database, and the SPA waits for the API. So when the database is ready, the API goes up, and when the API goes up, the SPA goes up as well. We are just doing that like a cascade. So let's just go copy this one. There we go. So what we need now is to create the SPA URL into the .env file. So we have all these things. This is about the API. Okay, this is about the API. Nice. And now we need something about the SPA. I just want to actually do that. It's gonna be the host. Okay, so SPA, and then SPA URL is gonna be SPA local.tgs.com. There we go. So I have the SPA. I need the HTTP port that it's already here. HTTP port and environment API. We've got all of these. Oh, we need the S2. We're gonna do that in a moment. So let's just copy these and put into the local environment, and let's put it into the production environment. But into production environment, it's gonna be just like that. Nice. I believe I don't need anything anymore. Now we need to do the assemble and build strategy inside the SPA. So let's do that. Create a new folder here, and let's do the S2I, and inside S2I new folder called binaries, because it's the binaries that we're going. A new file called assemble, and a new file called run. Okay, this is really nice. So in the assemble, I'll just do that, and then let's think about that. Let's save it, close it, and then open again. There we go. So we need to use the bash. Okay, so if we are going to work with the SPA, we need the bash, because this file will run as a bash script. So as a bash script is going to run, so I need to say that it's going to use the bash. Okay, this is if any error happens in this process, please stop and restart the container. Okay, this one is if I want to move files and copy files from one part to another one, move the hiding folders as well. So it's gonna check if there is a package JSON. Of course it's gonna have, so it's gonna to install the production as false, and we need to create this script, and I will explain that in the future. So I just comment it right now, and in the future I will explain. This one I will comment as well. In the future I will explain you. And the thing is, if the environment is development, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to run, to do the run. If it's not, I'm just going to remove some caches, and then I will do the run thing. Okay, and when we go run, what we do, it's yarn dev. Of course, if it's an bash script file, we need to have that in the beginning of the file. There we go. So if I close it and open again, there it goes, recognizing it as a bash script. Okay, so if we go back to the Docker Compose file, we will have exactly the same thing that we have for the API. Wait for it, it's going to wait forever, and then it's going to do the assemble thing. Let's try it. Clean and Docker Compose app, and what? Of course, we don't have this file, so we need to create inside the SPA a new folder. This folder is gonna be the registry. Okay, and inside the registry we need a new folder called we don't need the folder here actually, but we just have the development. Okay, and then new folder production, and then we will in the future check for the production. So we need a new file, docker file, and then inside this Docker file we need the image. It's gonna be an image that it's really like the one we already have in the backend. So it's gonna get the Nodejs 14, it's gonna be the buster is linked, then you have the working here. It's gonna update everything, it's gonna install the bash, it's gonna install some libraries that's necessary to run the dump-it. So we're gonna to run the dump-it. We're gonna change the owner of the source folder as the node user, and then we will say that this image will be run by the node user. And this is all about security. We talked about that in some lives ago. So if you go back in the lives, you're gonna see that we explained why all this information that we are working with. So let's try to do that again. Whoop, I don't have this anymore. So right, of course. So we need to go here and remove this, and let's check the data. Okay, so let's remove the data and let's do that. There we go. It's going to build the SPA. Wow, it was really fast. So let's check what's going wrong. Okay, can't find wait for it. Okay, it's right here. I can't find wait for it. So what I need to do, I go to the API, I have the wait for it, I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna paste it inside the SPA folder. Okay, and let's do that again. Docker compose app, there we go. The database is okay, the backend is okay, and now the front end it's okay. It's saying that the permission is denied into the assemble because we need to make assemble a executable file. So what we're gonna do, we're going to do C8 mode plus X, that's executable, and it's going to be SPA .sqe beam and assemble, and we're going to do the same thing with the run file. Okay, nice, and there we go again. Docker compose app and check if there's any. So the database is okay, the backend it's okay, and now the front end is going to run. Okay, we just need to change the port that's available in the in the port here. So we go to the package JSON and we change the port to 80. There we go, and there we go again. Let's check it. API is running, SPA is running, everything seems to be running. What we need to do now, sudo vi etc hosts. Okay, we need to update this file, and I need to add the 107.0.0.1, and it's going to be spa.local.tts.com. And as we have these, let's check if it's properly working. And there we go. So we come here and we check for that. Page not found. So the traffic, this is the traffic message. So we're trying to get that SPA local.tts.com. So let's check this information. So SPA URL, okay. Let's go to the Docker compose, SPA URL. This is fine. This one is fine as well. Nice. And why this traffic it's not getting this? Let's just try to understand what's going on.
Can we check in the dashboard? Maybe we have some
traffic
clue?
dashboard.
Yes, we can.
I believe that's 88.
Can we see that?
Yeah.
Some information?
Yeah. So let's check. Do we have what? We just have the API. So traffic, it's really not getting all the information for me. So we have 4 of them, the services. So we just have the PG local TGS. Why? Let's get that SPA, build, SPA, HTTP port, 222, traffic through. Of course, we need to change these. That's the rule. Needs to be the SPA web rule. There we go. Now traffic will understand it, because we need to create rules, and I was creating rules for both of them, and this is gonna produce an error for traffic.
It's not. We know that it's not in the hosts because it's the traffic message.
Yes,
So
exactly.
if it was not in the hosts, it will check in the internet and return not found.
Exactly. Perfect. There we go. Now we have the SPA, we have the API, we have the PG, so we have everyone here. Let's check the SPA, see everything is working. Seems to be working, so we go back here, do that, there we go. And the page seems to be working perfectly. So let's close all of these and let's check if the hot reload is working. So I do that, save it. There we go, the hot reload is working as well. So everything seems to be working perfectly, guys. The back end, the front end, all of them with reverse proxy and everything that we need.
Very nice, perfect.
Yeah.
Now we can.
What?
Now we can work in the React.
Yeah. So let's just copy these and put all of these into the model file, and let's just get the production and yeah, into the production we need something for the SPA as well. Well, I'm not going to work with the production right now. I'm not going to think about this. Let's go back to React, and when we do the CI process, we will think about that. Let's not think about it right now. Okay, this one is working, so local, I have it here and I have it here. Perfect. Let's concentrate now into the React. Nice. So the first thing that I'm going to change, that inside the source folder, instead of using JS, we're going to use JSX, because this is going to render a JSX. So we need to do that. Okay. And another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new folder called components. All right. And inside this folder, new file called app.jsx. Okay, so we will have this app.jsx, and then let's do the thing that we do all the time: import React from React, and then we are just going to create a function here, and this function, it's going to return a div. Okay, let's call this div app. Okay, and then we are going to do export default app. There you go. So it's gonna be this. So we're going to go into the index folder, and then we're going to import the app from it's going to be like that, components app. Okay, and instead of doing all these render, let's just going to return here the app. The app. There we go. And let's check if it's working. can be reached by, I just turned off the clean the compose app. Nice. So what? This is in the source JSX. Let's do it again, because I've changed the file name, so I need to change it here. So let's check if it's going to work. API, SPA, and done. So if I come back here, there you go, app. So it's working, perfect. So I have the index and I have the app. This is how React works. So you can create components, and the components will be functions. Thiago Costa, you are on the host. Nice, perfect. He just told me the problem in the chat. I just didn't saw that. Thank you, Thiago Costa, for the thing. Sometimes I just I'm not looking at the chat all the time, but I have my mobile here with the chat, so sometimes I just take a look and peek if there is anyone saying anything. So I believe that's better, because some lives ago I just missed some guy saying something. The guy just get a little bit annoyed about that.
Actually, when I was talking about the hosts, I was answering him. That's why I was talking about that.
Yes. So the nature of React, it's, as I told you before, and I explained why we use functions, not functions, functions. Albus must be smiling the other side of the the chat, because my function is functions. Okay, thank you, Albus, for that. It's functions. Nice. So what I believe that the first thing that we want to work with, it's the routes. Okay, because this is one of the things that we're going to really use it. And in order to use the routes, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this library, React Router Done, one of the most used libraries for routing in the React world that I know. Okay, so in order to work with that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to install it. Okay, so it's just simple like that. And now that we have Docker, we don't need to do that outside of the container. We can do the same thing that we do in the backend. So Docker exec -iterative terminal, and then SPA, and then bash. We can do that directly. Yarn add -d, and then this one, React Rotterdam. Okay, and let's import it. So let's import browse router from React Router Done. The browse router, if you want to use it, it needs to wrap the app. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Browser router, and then this is gonna wrap all my application. And let's make it a little bit better, because this is kind of annoying me. There we go. So let's do like that. Perfect. Better code. So this is the only thing that you need to do in order to make your application able to use routing. And now we will understand a little bit better about this routing process. Okay, so in order to do that, I will create here a new file called it's JSX. Okay, which is going to return a JSX file for us. Okay, and then we do the same thing that we do always: import React from React. Okay, and there you go. So let's create some routes here, and this is gonna be a file just like that, and this is gonna to return. Right now, let's just do a div here called routes. Routes. Nice. So, and of course, export default routes. Okay, and then into the app, we're going to import it. Import routes from routes. Okay, and what we're gonna render here is gonna be routes. Okay, and it's gonna be just like that. And if we go back to the application, it's gonna appear routes for us. So the index gets the app gets the routes, and so the last one that's being presented here, it's gonna be the one that will be presented. Okay, but inside the route, what we need to import from React Router DOM, let's do that. React Router DOM, there you go. So I'm just going to do a switch. There you go. So this is the first element that we need to create in order to create the routes inside my my application. Okay, and the other thing that I need to import, it's the route component. Okay. There you go. We are getting the route component, and we are going to do something just like that. Okay, and in the route component, anything that I pass in here that's called children, and I will go a little bit further with the children and props idea. Don't worry about that. But I'm just going to create a component called homepage. Okay, it's going to be homepage component, and we still need to create it. Don't worry. And let's just create another route with another component. That's going to be, for example, login page. Okay, so I'm gonna have two different components here. One is for the home page, that you have everything about the home page, and another one about the login page. If we have pages, let's create a folder here called pages. Okay, and inside this folder, let's create both of these files: home page, okay, JSX, of course, and a new file here called login page .jsx. Nice. And another file called index.js, and I will explain you about that. So let's do the same thing that we do: import React from React, and then we create a function called homepage. This homepage function, it's gonna return a div. Okay, this div is gonna call home page. Okay, and then let's export the default home page, and there we go. So I'm gonna do exactly the same thing for login page, and let's just change it for login page. Nice. And then in the index, I'm gonna do export. Okay, I'm just going to I believe that's this as no, it's gonna be what's gonna be just like that, default as homepage from homepage. Okay, it's gonna be just like that. Yeah, because I'm this file is just to get everything that you have inside this folder and export it, and you will understand this in a moment. So I just get all these things, so I'm gonna do the same thing with login page there, and then this needs to be just like that. Okay, and when we go to let's create outside here in the components a new file called index.js. Okay, and this file is going to export everything from the pages folder. So what I'm doing, I'm get everything from the folder exporting up, and every folder I have up, I just get everything and export everything. Just go doing that to the top, and this will help me to do something like that. Import from components. Okay, I can import things from components. And what kind of things I can import in from there? Well, if I have the home page and login page, there you go. So you can do that, and now both of these things are going to work. But in the route, I need to say what kind of path it needs to be resolved in order to give back something like the home page. So let's say exact, okay, and the path, it's gonna be this one. Okay, so what I'm saying, if you go directly to the address that you have, for example, SPA, let me just make it, well, I can, but if you go directly to the SPA page, it's gonna render home page. Okay, and let's just do exactly the same thing, exact path, but instead of saying the root folder, we're going to say login. So if it's login, not here, oh, I'm sorry about that, it's going to be here, there you go. So we're going to say, if you want to the root folder, we need to render the home page. If you go to the root folder login, it's gonna to render the login page. So if you just go here, login, there you go, it's gonna show you login page. If you go back, it's gonna render for you the home page. Okay, so this is the routing process in this application. This is how easy it's to create a routing configuration to React.
Yes, and to us be able to do that, we need the router DOM, the React router DOM.
Exactly.
We use that way we can use the URL field to specify our route. If we don't have React router DOM, we're just going to see the app that is being rendered in the first time, because the page is not changing, just switching the components. It's the same page. That's why it's called SPA. We are always seeing the same page, the same component.
Exactly.
Very nice.
So as we have all the routes working, we need to start to work in the pages, right? So the pages needs to be a little bit better. One of the things that I don't like to do is to just throw files into the page folder. Okay, so what I like to do is to create folders just like this, home page, and then I get these put inside of here. Ooh, there, and then I call this one index. And then let's do the same thing, new folder, login page. Let's get the login page here, put it inside, and change the name of these to index. There you go. So this keeps the same, so it doesn't change because it's an index file inside this folder. So you keep exactly the same thing. And if you go back to here and do that, and just go to, if you go to login, there you go. It's still working. Okay. And why do I do that? What's the reason to create folders and put indexes inside of these? Because in the future, we will have more files inside of this folder. We can have, for example, index.test.js. Another file that we'll have, it's index.stories.js. And some people like to do that, but I don't. But some people just have the styles.js. Okay, so as you can see, if you just let all these files outside the page, when the application starts to grow up, things will start to be more confusing. Okay, so well, you will not be able to understand what's exactly there. A lot of files, so please organize it better using folders, just like that. It's really better to do it in that way. Some people like to do that. Do, for example, homepage JS, and then index homepage.stores.js, homepage.test.js. Is there a rights and wrongs doing that? I like the index better because when you import it just like this, if you have homepage, you need to do this twice. So it's going to be homepage, and well, I don't think that it's it's the feeling I have that this is ugly. You know, let me just delete it because I'm not using it right now. So I have this feeling that this thing it's ugly. So I don't like to use that. I prefer the index idea instead of the homepage idea. Okay.
My opinion that when it comes to React, don't use the folder. It's wrong because sometime in the project we are going to have some kind of related file that will have to be attached to the main component. So it's a lot better to use the folder and use index.js, just JSX. You're going to see the benefits.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And another thing that we are doing, it's we have monolith here. So what this means that we are having monolith? It's a monolith and a monorepo. So I just have one repository for backend and frontend. This is called monorepository. And it's a monolith because everything is in the same structure. Of course, as I'm showing you, you can just get the SPA folder and put into a separated repository. You can get the API and put into a separate repository. It's gonna be fine if you do that in this structure that I'm creating here. So it's not gonna be difficult to do that. Why I'm using monorepo and why I'm using all this kind of it's not monolith, it's just monorepo. But why I'm doing that? Well, you start with that. That's easier for you. And if the project goes up and you have 4 backends, 5 front ends, and a million of money, well, you can easily get this information, put into different repositories, work with that. So it's really easy to do that. Right now, for us, learning all this can be just like that. But there is a problem. When you, for example, I'm using the VS Code, and VS Code is not. It's a real good idea, but it has some problems. Okay, there are some problems with VS Code, and one of them, for example, the biggest one, if you don't use TypeScript, it's not going to help you with all the things. And if you use, for example, WebStorm is going to help you with all the linting thing and all the IntelliSense, for example. The VS Code IntelliSense is really bad if you don't use TypeScript. I'm not saying that TypeScript is better. Actually, it's not. But if you use VS Code, you're kind of dependent of that. Of course, TypeScript is made by Microsoft, and the VS Code is made by Microsoft. So both of the things seems to work better together. But for example, if I use WebStorm, and when I'm working in my day by day, I don't use VS Code. I use WebStorm. I like it better. You're gonna have a better IntelliSense for your project. But we can improve it. Okay, we can do things to improve. And the first thing is you need to code inside the folder that's responsible for what you are working with. For example, right now I'm in the VS Code inside the root folder. But if I go inside the SPA and open my code, okay, let's do that. So I'm going to open my code inside the SPA. Bruno, I will call you in the other one. So let's stop this one.
Okay.
How do I stop it? How do I stop it? Stop sharing. There was another.
I will leave.
It's here.
Found the button.
No, it's right here. Yeah, I did it. I believe I did it. Yes, I did. So you need to do that inside the folder. That's the one you're going to work with, and I will show you another trick that you can use to improve a little bit the VS Code. He's not going far, but it's going to go better. So in the terminal, of course, I'm just going to go back one folder and do the clean and Docker compose thing. Docker compose app. Okay. API, SPA, everything is working. Let's check it. Everything is working perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new file right in the folder, right in the root of my SPA folder, okay? And I'm going to create a JS config .json. There we go. JS config.json. Oh, and I'm just going to paste this here. So this JS config, it's some configurations for VS Code. So I'm kind of explaining the things for VS Code, okay? The first one, the compiler options. I'm saying that I'm using React. The base URL, it's gonna be the source folder, okay? Module is gonna be common.js, so I'm going to use import and export. the target of my application is gonna be ECMAScript 6, and I'm just going to say some paths. For example, everything that's from source, these I'm explaining this thing. It's going to explain for VS Code what I'm doing exactly in this line. So in this line, I'm saying all the folders that's inside the source, now it's a module. And I'm explaining the same thing for the ESLint. So I'm saying use the import resolver from the Webpack. And now I need to say exactly the same thing for the VS Code. So I'm going to say all the files. So I can import everything that's from the source folder. Of course, exclude node modules. And what? What? TS config. I'm not using TS. What? Well, just ignore this right now, and then I will check for it in the future. So let's just try to do in the routes. Where's the routes? Yeah, let's try to do that. There we go. So if you remember better, when we did the import from and I tried to list everything that component has, the VS Code was not able to find it. Now, if I press Ctrl and space, it's gonna list all the components I have in the components now. Now it's gonna work. So if I do that, there we go. And now I have all the things. So I'm improving a little bit the IntelliSense. So actually, you don't need TypeScript to improve the IntelliSense. You just need to talk to your IDE, and the IDE is gonna understand better your code. Still, the VS Code is not does not properly work with JavaScript. What I feel when I'm working with, it's that VS Code kind of forces you to use TypeScript. And when you see some YouTubers talking about it, they say the only way you have to get the IntelliSense and the typing system and all that, it's with TypeScript. That's not true. And I can actually prove that you using the API. So no, let's keep doing that. And I promise you that in the next session, I will open the WebStorm and I will open the VS Code and show you the differences when you are working with code with both of them. And now you're gonna ask me, why are you using VS Code instead of using WebStorm and explaining everything for us into the VS Code? Well, the VS Code is free and the WebStorm is not. And actually, WebStorm, it's well, if you're from Brazil, it's gonna be, if you go to the, I don't know, let's get, for example, WebStorm and see the pricing. Can I see the pricing of that? Yeah, well, it's not for individual use, and yearly is gonna be 59. Let's see that in Brazilian reais.
Oh my god.
Euros in reais. Well, the thing is, if you are working with software development, you should spend money with the best tools that you have.
Okay, that's a year or a month?
That's a year.
Okay.
That's year. So if you go monthly, it's gonna be just like that. So, well, it's some decisions, but the thing is, I don't want to enforce you to use something that you need to spend money with. Maybe you are a junior internee that you don't have money enough to buy it. So I will try to do the best that I can using VS Code. But I strongly recommend you to have your personal WebStorm thing. And guys, I'm not. I don't have a contract with people from JetBrains or anything. I'm just saying that because I'm a software developer and we are all software developers, and I need to be through with you. Okay, you have better options than VS Code in the market. So if you have money, get that thing that it's gonna be important. But can I use VS Code in the day by day? Is it gonna be enough? Yes, it is. For a very long time, you can use this. It's all free. You can get a lot of plugins. Right now, the plugins I'm using, it's all of them. So I use Dracula, I use SLint, GitLens, Live Server, and Live Share to share the screen with my friend. Material we can temps. This is for these beautiful icons in the things here, and the VS Code styled components. We will talk about the styled components in a moment. Okay, so again, you have the free option, but when you are not paying for something, you are the product. And TypeScript, VS Code, and all of that, it's a Microsoft product, and you will be involved into all of that. I need React plugin. Again, yes, I would. It would be an interesting thing to add the React, but as I have SLint and all of that, I don't know if I would use that. What do you think, Albus? What's the good thing installing a React plugin? What kind of React plugin do you recommend? See, I have a lot of plugins all here, and what's gonna be the one that you say this one? It's a good one. The second one. So you
all
mean
of
this?
them.
One of the things I like to do in VS Code, if you're working with this, you just go here and do the most popular, and then you try to find the things. React, for example. There we go. It's gonna be the second anyway. So let's just check it. DZ Nodejs. So it's not a official one. It's some person that created it. Okay. So you have snippets and all of that. I can create my own snippets, so I don't like to people enforcing me snippets. Nice. Okay. Yes, it's for a lot of snippets. React. Yeah. Snippets, it's when you just type 2 or 3 things, you just do hit enter and it completes everything for you. I like to create my own snippet actually. So React hooks, React Native, Redux, I don't use Redux. So nice, GraphQL, some things for the GraphQL. Yeah. It's basically snippets, a lot of snippets. Simple Station, Redux, yeah. Well, I will try it offline when I'm not in live, and I will take a look. But as I'm seeing here, it's a lot of snippets. It's just creating snippets for everything, and I can just do the things. Right. So I have the pages. Nice. So I just explained that. Another thing that I like to have in the project is the styled components. Okay.
I think one thing that you missed
Hmm.
is the prop types. It gives you some kind of IntelliSense too.
Yeah, but I believe
Or
that we'll do that when I start exploring better the props and all of that.
okay, no
Let's just
problem.
go to the styled components because it's something that people can just use right away and improve the beauty of the code. The styled component library, it's this one, styled.
I love styled components.
Yeah. Well,
It's one of the best things that
yeah.
we
But
can have in
yeah, some people will say, "Hey, I like to use some CSS framework, just like Tailwind, just like Material UI, just like well, there is a lot of frameworks that you have in the market, and but why do I like styled component better than all the UI frameworks that we have in the market? Well, uh, I like to create my own CSS things. Uh, I'm kind of against getting a lot of things and put into a project that you're not going to use. For example, Tailwind is lovely, one of the best frameworks of CSS that we have. But again, it's the same thing. Sometimes you just getting a huge amount of code of something and you're not going to use all of that. And what I like better from styled component is that you can get styled component. It's gonna be a CSS in JS. What does that mean? That I can create the CSS as a JavaScript code. So everything is gonna be just like in the same way. Okay? Let me show you the styled component and then you will understand how does that work. So yarn add styled components. Okay?
But if you want to use some framework of the UI, you can also use it with the styled components. And the styled components can also extend the
Yeah.
the framework component style. It's
I,
very cool.
I'm saying that, but I'm actually in my GitHub. I have a. Let me check that. But I have a next React Flickr. I have the React Graphical Tailwind, this one. So let me just put it into the chat. Where's the chat? The chat. So you can check. I did that in the. So it's one of the projects I work with. I work with Tailwind, and I did that. So but you're gonna see in the future, we will create all the theme structure with hooks and all of that, and it's gonna be really difficult to make it work with Tailwind. Again, what I'm creating here, it's a structure that you will use for different kind of projects, you know. And in order to create this kind of structure, I believe that you can't use right away a framework CSS. Okay? So how does the styled component work? So you just import styled from styled components. Okay, and then you can create a component. Yes, as a JavaScript. So it's gonna be just kind of like a function. So let's create it, let's call it wrapper. Okay, and then we are going to call styled dot, and then in the dot you have all the HTML elements. So you have divs, you have buttons, you have a element, you have well, all the components. I'm just going to get a div, and it always ends with these brackets, okay? And inside of these, you can pass the CSS if you want to, okay? So instead of, let's get this, instead of using div, I'm going to use a wrapper, okay? So if we go to the home page, it's just gonna be a regular home page, okay? But I can actually add some CSS here. For example, I can add background color and call it red, for example, okay? There you go. So I have a red background for this homepage, okay? And you can do anything you want to display flags, for example, and then you have align it and center, and then you have justify content center, and there you go. It's going to make everything, and then you can mean width. It's gonna be 100 of the view height, okay? And what? Mean, it's not width, it's mean height. There you go. There. So it's gonna get all the pages. It's doing that. This is a how can I say? The HTML pages. When you work with HTML pages, it starts with this border, and I will show you how to remove that in the future. But I'm just going to show you how to work with styled components as well. And for example, if you want to pass any information to the styled components, you can do that just like here. For example, let's get color. So I'm just going to say color, it's red. Okay, there you go. Color, it's red. So how do I use the color inside of the wrapper? Okay, how I'm gonna do that? So instead of just getting the background just like this, I'm just going to open a dollar and bracket, okay, and then I will pass an arrow function to this bracket. Inside the arrow function, I will receive an object. Let's call this object props, okay, and then I can return the props.color. There you go. Okay, well, as I'm just returning the props color, I don't need and we are using arrow functions, we don't need to do that, so I can just return directly. There you go. So I can do that, and it's going to work as well. So if I change it to green, for example, if I change it to green, it's gonna turn green my web page. Okay, so anything I pass for the styled component, I can get it as this is a bracket. Okay, this is a bracket. No, sorry, this is a bracket. I can just open a dollar with a bracket, and inside of this I will pass a function. This function will receive the props, okay? And as I'm using JavaScript, I can just like destructure the color from the object. So I can do that as well. Instead of just passing the props and doing props color, you can do that. So it's gonna work as well. Let's just try now pink. There you go. My website, it's pink. Nice. So
Very cool.
I believe that today we did a lot of things. So we work with styled components, we work with the HAUTs, we've created all the infrastructure for this folder, and I believe we will stop here, because in the next session I really want to explain themes for you. So we will focus on themes, how to create themes, and then you will understand the importance of using styled component for projects, instead of using a framework just right away. You can add the framework after, but when you start a project, it's better to use styled component with a good theme strategy. And that's what we're going to do. So in the themes, I want to be very slow and explain you step by step how to build a nice theme. And we will use the context API. We're going to use a lot of different strategies. So we will just stop today, and in the next session we will work with the theme strategy. Is that good for you, Bruno?
It's awesome. Very cool. The styled components is a very cool tool to us. It transforms the DOM element into React component. So all of the things that you have in a component in React, you have in your styles. So it makes it a lot more dynamic. So your styles it will be very cool to work with styling in your application.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Exactly. So today we're going to go to another woman that it talks about software development. She's a real good one. I believe that she works in the United States, and but I believe that she speaks Portuguese. But let's go to that girl. She's really good. Please send all the good vibes to her. Thank you very much. See you in the next live. Bye
See you
bye.
guys. Thanks for coming. Bye bye.